Morning, guys. Want to share with you a powerful secret today that will move us from mind power, maintain our mind health, and then move us towards mind wealth, which is the true destiny of all of us. We are all meant to be happy, free, successful, and not allow anything in life, no matter how negative or bad, to bother us. And it is this. When I read Your One Word by Evan Carmichael, and when I found my one word, it changed everything, all in a flash of lightning. When I realized that everything in my life, everything I like, everything I gravitate towards, the people I hang out with, it's all about determination for me. I said, enough. Once I made that decision, I cut myself off from retreating. I started writing my book, and here I am. Find your one word. You're one word away from your greatness.
Leadership is a responsibility to people around us. It's not a rank. You've heard me say this before. I know many people who sit at the highest levels of organizations who are not leaders.
Right.
They have authority, and we do as they tell us because they have authority over us, but we would not follow them.
Right.
And I know many people, as do you, who sit at lower levels of organizations who have no formal authority, in that they've made a choice to look after the person to the left of them and look after the person to the right of them, and we would trust them and follow them anywhere. In other words, leadership can come from anywhere within an organization. Yes, we have the right to demand to have better leaders and better leadership in our companies. But when we don't, quitting is not the only option, nor is simply complaining, but undertaking the task of becoming the leader we wish we had.
Wow.
You know, anyone at any level can become a student of leadership. And anyone at any level can choose to take to look after this person and that person and work tirelessly to see that they rise, they become better versions of themselves, and that they show up to work inspired and go home feeling fulfilled and feel safe when they're at work because of us.
Yeah.
Be the change you want to see in the world. One of my favorite quotes, Mahatma Gandhi. If you're not happy with something, you're not happy with a situation, you fix it. That's why entrepreneurs are going to solve all the problems. As much as there's government and big business, I think it's entrepreneurs, it's us. We're going to solve all the world's problems because we see a problem and we want to fix it. We want to solve it. That's what we do. That's the most exciting part of being an entrepreneur, is that you're not waking up and driving to some job that you hate, where the work you're doing does not matter, has no meaning, and instead you get to do something that is actually going to touch somebody's life and that is meaningful to you, right? You get to pick, you get to decide, you get to choose. And we're trying to make the world a better place. We're going to make money doing it too. But mission first, purpose first, and then making money along the way in service of others. And it's in that combination of what you love doing with what brings value to other people that you have a successful business. Part of that then becomes being a leader as well. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with being a leader because at the beginning, we are just managing ourselves, and that's hard enough, right? Like, have you had a hard time managing yourself? Have you had a hard time sticking to your routines and keeping to your motivation and staying strong on the things that you say you're going to do? Like, self-management, self-leadership is hard enough. Now we're going to go off and lead other people as well. And where do we learn about leadership? We don't go to school for this. We don't have programs. We don't probably have great mentors to help us. If you had jobs in the past, or maybe you're at a job right now, you probably don't have the greatest leaders around you. Most people suck at it. But it doesn't have to be extremely difficult. And it took me a long time to get used to it and get better at it, and I'm still learning and improving. But we've got almost 40 people on the team now, and when people ask me what's my definition of leadership, it's I want people to win more than I want them to win with me. And so the key becomes wanting the humans that are on your team to win as humans more than you want them to win with you. That you can have this little disconnection. Obviously they have to do the work if they're going to work with you, but sometimes the best thing for them to do is to move on. Not because they're not doing their job, but because it's the best thing for them. And so when I connect with the people on my team, it's always trying to figure out where do they want to go, what do they want to learn, what do they want to improve on. And I see everybody as running parallel paths with me. So the people around you, the people, even us right now, what we're doing right now, this is a parallel path. You've decided to watch this video, I decided to record this video, and we're sharing this moment in time. And maybe you never watch another Evan Carmichael video again. Maybe you end up watching all my videos and we end up being partners on some future business. Who knows? You know, we may see you every day in the future. But as of right now, we're on this parallel path together. And when somebody's with you, walking down that parallel path, the goal of a great leader, I think, should be to try to make that person leave better than how they came in. Right? Have you ever heard the expression, or maybe it's just something my grandfather used to tell me about, you know, when you go to a hotel or you go to a new city or you go to a new event, they always try to leave the place better than when you came. You know, and hopefully that's our goal for life. You know, in this life, we try to leave the world a little better than how it was when we came in. And so if you take that approach to leadership, that when you're with the people on your team, and maybe it's for a week, on some really short internship, maybe it's for a year, maybe it's for 5 years, 10 years, maybe it's for their entire life with you, that they have left a little bit better than when they came in because they got to hang around you. And not taking it as an ego play, like I'm gonna make this person's life better because I am so amazing. It's more out of care, genuine care for the people on your team. And I think when we're first hiring, we suck at it. Most entrepreneurs suck at hiring. Most entrepreneurs, their first employee is not with them, a year, 2 years, 3 years later, because they hired the wrong person. They have no idea how to manage that person. It's not that that person sucks. It's more that, you don't have the skill set. We don't have the skill sets at the beginning to know how to even find the right person, let alone manage them. And so, that's a skill that we have to develop. But I think it just starts with genuinely caring about the people on your team. That yes, they have to get the work done, right? There's a job that has to get done. But how we often think about it is more from a selfish perspective, as I need to get this stuff off my plate, right? You're overloaded with work, right? Are you overloaded with work? We're overloaded with work. So I gotta hire somebody to take this off my plate so I don't have to deal with that ever again, and it frees up my time to go and do other stuff, right? Sound familiar? Listen, at the beginning, when you bring on a team, it takes more time. It takes more time than it frees up because you have to train them, you have to listen to them, you have to care for them, you have to answer their questions. If you treat them like a robot or a monkey, they're not going to stick with you. You're going to constantly be hiring and firing and hiring and firing. You're going to be massively frustrated and overwhelmed. And a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in that cycle where, has this happened to you? You hire somebody, it looks great on paper. You're so excited for it to go, and then it doesn't work out a couple months later, and then you decide, you know what, I'm just going to do it all myself, right? I know I can get it done. I'm just going to do it all myself. Does that happen to you? That is not the path to building a movement. You can have a great little solo business for yourself, but that's not how you change the world. That's not how you realize your potential. That's not how you have the impact that you're capable of having. You have to have people around you. If you've got a big mission, if you don't have a big mission, it's just you, cool, go for it. But if you've got a big mission, then it needs to be team, and that becomes a skill set that you have to pick up and learn. And so leadership for me is, again, caring about people as humans more than caring about them winning with you. It's about discovering what they want to learn and grow and improve at, and you being a vehicle to help them do that. And it's surprising how often you can find things that support them and support you. Not all the time. I remember having one guy on my team who his dream was to be a baker. Like, well, I don't have an interest in opening up a bake shop, right? But ultimately, you should leave us and go do your passion, because I can't help you inside of this job until I open a bake shop that can really support you in what you want to do. And so, even though he wanted to stay, he was staying more out of fear and insecurity than actually doing something that he was deeply passionate about. So I gave him till the end of the year. If it was, summer, so give him to the end of the year to, okay, as of the end of the year, you're out and you have to go find a job. I love you, but you have to go find something that is in line with your dream, because you staying here is safe and is actually squashing your dreams. You have to go do your thing. And so, he had to go and move on. And was appreciative for it and giving him time, not like, okay, you're fired next week. And then you have other people though, and usually you can find something inside of what they care about. So the amount of people who I've met on my team who then they want to learn graphic design, or they want to learn Photoshop, or they want to learn copywriting, or they want to learn how to come up with good titles, or they want to learn better communication skills, or they want to learn, they have their list of like the things that they want to learn. It's like, cool, as long as there's something that we've got that can help you with that, some kind of program, some project, something that can also bring value to the company, then let's do it. Because when people are working on the things that they feel like they're growing in and they're learning in, they're gonna, it's just a good thing to do because it's from the heart, and when they feel connected to your heart, everybody's happier and more productive. But it's also just good business strategy. If you want to just put your XO business strategy hat on, it's great. This is how karma becomes practical. If somebody's engaged and they feel like they're learning and they're growing and they're improving, you're going to get the best of them versus if they feel bored and stuck and learning nothing new, right? That's what most people do in their jobs. And honestly, the bar for leadership is so low. It's so low. Most people wake up and drive to that job that they hate. So all you have to do, to be honest, to be their best boss is probably just to not be a bad boss. You don't have to be a great boss. You just have to not be a bad boss. You just have to treat somebody like a normal human being and actually have a little bit of care and compassion and curiosity to see them win in life. You do that, you're already probably their best boss of all time. I think that's a pretty low standard, but it's a great starting point to then be able to say, hey, no, I want this person to have come out of my organization, whether that's in a month or year or 10 years from now, a better human because they were with us. And it's totally possible. It's just a mindset shift that these people are on your team because they have something to prove as well and they want to learn. And it's not just about you saving your time and dumping stuff off of your plate and giving it to somebody else so it can be all delegated away. It's that you are a leader and you care about people and you want to see them win. And you're responsible for making sure that they get pushed outside their comfort zone. You got a big mission inside you. It's a huge mission. And you can't do this alone. And you may not have the skills yet to be the leader that you want to be. Maybe not yet, but you've got a big heart. And honestly, that's the biggest skill that you ever need.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Morning, guys. Top 10 rules for success. Today, Warren Buffett shares with us something so powerful, and it's connected to what we're talking about in developing our mind wealth. And I think it is a sure sign that you have or are on the path of infinite mind wealth. And that is Warren Buffett, the greatest investor, one of the guys who's the best at making money in the world through making decisions, calculated decisions. He says that the greatest secret he's learned is the power of unconditional love. And he refers to the power that a parent has for a child. He goes on to tell us today that knowing that you can come back and people will love you no matter what, and we all have that capability to have that unconditional love for everyone, he says that's the most powerful lesson he learned. It can unlock the full potential of all of us. So think about that. The greatest investor in the world is talking about unconditional love. May we all use it for everyone. Everyone, have a great day.
I mean, the mind is like a computer program, and the fact that it's on a negative loop is because we programmed it on a negative loop. But, we could have been influenced when we were children and things like that. One of the things that the mind loves repetition. I mean, loves it. If you really watch your thoughts, this is the same old thoughts over and over again. It's just kind of dishing up the same old thing. So it loves repetition. So the way you can override a program is to put in the opposite. And when you start out, you feel like you're lying. You'll say something like, you might be really broke. I was when I was making a secret. So you might not have any money and you're trying to instill wealth and prosperity and riches. And every time you say it, you feel a contraction in your body because you don't have it. But truly, because I did it myself, after a while you change it. You really begin to change it and you don't quite have that contraction anymore. And then you start to see money coming in different ways. Or you can be given things that you were going to buy and now you don't have to buy it. Or so you start to see signs of land, is one of the great new thought writers would say, talk about a sign of land. So you start to see sign of land. Now, that's what I did in The Secret. You can do gratitude. That will turn everything around. That will make you feel good. That will get you off the negative rant. But those negative thoughts are coming from beliefs held in the subconscious mind, right? That's
where do the beliefs stem from for most of us?
They stem mostly from our childhood, conditioning. Yeah. Our parents said something to us. We just swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker. We're like, right, that's a belief. And so we take it in and then we have all these beliefs that and you can hear, if you're talking to somebody, like if somebody says, oh, I believe da 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 da, or because we say that all the time, or somebody says, I think da 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 da, behind those two statements are going to be a belief. And so the really interesting thing, they're hard to spot because you believe they're true.
They seem real, right? Yeah.
So you don't think they're a belief. You think they're real, and so they can be hard to spot. But if you start to listen to yourself, I believe, or I think, or especially look at the things that you have a really strong opinion about. Because where you have a really strong opinion is a belief that's underneath that. So one of the things that in the latest book is that I show how to dissolve those beliefs, and just really by some of the things that I've just mentioned, and you can dissolve them, and you just feel free. Every time a belief goes out, you feel completely free. It's amazing feeling. You just feel as light as a feather, and actually you feel invincible.
Energy is everything when you're thinking about a law of attraction. And you need to be coming from a positive, grateful, abundant feeling in order to start creating more of that. You can't come from a feeling of lack, of scarcity, of not enough, of I don't love myself. If you don't love yourself, you're saying to the world, to the universe, to other people, why would I work with you? Why do I want to connect with you? Why do I want to be in love with you if you don't love yourself? So you got to start shifting that way of thinking, the way of feeling, the way of being in order to really show up energetically around other people. One of my early mentors told me, the world makes room for passionate people. Think about it. If you are slunched over every single day like this, lacking confidence, stressed, anxious, depressed, and you're unable to get out of your own way because you're constantly thinking about how much you don't love yourself. I've been there. I know this feeling. If you're in that state, people aren't attracted to that. They're attracted to someone who is humble yet confident at the same time in their abilities. Someone who cares and can look other people in the eye. Someone who's got a big heart and opens up and is willing to receive information. Not someone who's slouched over and has, a middle finger up to the world. They want people who are open, who are willing, who are down to try things, who are passionate, at least passionate about the thing they care about. And when you show you are passionate about something, People are attracted to energy that is passionate, that is grateful, that is fun, that is loving, that is expressive, that is creative, that is expansive. They're not attracted to people who are closed off and guarded. That is not attractive. That is not sexy in any part of life. In a relationship, health, business, you're not going to attract people from that place. So we're working to reprogram your mind and break the patterns that have been leading your life, because I've been there in so many different areas of my life for many different years that have held me back. And some I've been confident in certain areas, and others I've lacked confidence. And this is a process, and this is a journey, and it's not going to happen overnight.
When we talk about or think about the law of attraction, before we even consider that law and several other corollary laws, when we talk about everything is energy, what does that really mean? Right? Like, what does that really mean? And when you think about, we use telescopes to look into outer space, into the cosmos, and we use microscopes to look deeper into material things until it all disappears anyway, right? We can see electrons and protons and muons and quarks and leptons, the very fundamental building blocks of nature, of our body, of plants, of the ocean, of everything in the known cosmos. And it appears that everything is vibrating. If you were to look through these electron microscopes, deep into a plant or even your hand, although it appears to be solid, we see vibrating packets of this thing we call energy, vibrating packets of something called quanta, right? And so if everything is vibrating, then is it possible, and this is a dialogue, right? Is it possible that when you and I have a thought, a positive one, a negative one, a thought about something we want or something we don't want, right? So it's a thought, a spark of electrochemical activity in the brain, a thought, we say, I want this, I don't want that. Is it possible? Let's just have a little dialogue here. Is it possible that since that thought is a burst of electrical activity and also releases a chemical that correlates with that thought, is it possible that the electrochemical activity is vibrating, oscillating, moving, whatever you want to call it, at a certain frequency that resonates or repels with certain things in the physical world? Is it possible? If everything is energy, how do you get into resonance with what it is you want to, attract? How do you get mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually in resonance with the stuff that you want instead of what you don't want? Here's one of the biggest challenges. Our brains are wired for safety first, emotional safety, physical safety, financial safety first. And so in order to protect ourselves, our brain actually has to think about, where is there danger? Like, where could I get hurt? And in thinking about where you can get hurt, is it possible that sometimes we're in a temporary or permanent state of fear? And if we're in a permanent or temporary state of fear, is it possible that that state of fear or uncertainty or self-doubt is actually attracting, resonating with the stuff that we don't want? One of the keys to applying the law of resonance is getting your mindset right, the brain, right, focused on what it is that you want, getting your heart, right, the emotions aligned as well. So it's head and heart aligned also with what it is you want to resonate with. And then there's another piece to it that not a lot of people think about or talk about, and that's the gut, right? The brain-gut axis is in communication with each other at all times. And there's a lot of research around you've got to really follow your instincts, right? Your intuition, your instinctual feeling about stuff. So you got to get the head, the heart, and the gut aligned. And that is really the winning combination to be in a state of resonance.
You have to really begin to mentally rehearse. Like, so you ask yourself at the end of your day, I do this every day. How'd I do? How'd I do today, bro? How'd you do? Did you do good? Where'd you fall from grace? What was it that caused you to go unconscious for the rest of the day? Like, what was that moment? Now, if you're a student of life, you'll begin to contemplate, well, it was that person that said that thing, then I reacted, or I got this email, or things didn't go my way, and I started feeling angry or frustrated or fearful. The next time that happens, how could I evolve my experience? Now, you may have to search for some answers of the best model to build, or you may actually have a long contemplation and start to go, God, the next time that happens, I think I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to plan my behaviors. And the act of closing your eyes and rehearsing what you're going to do begins to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like you already did it. Now the brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future. And if you keep installing that hardware, the hardware will become a software program, which means you'll just start acting like a happy person. Why? There's no magic there. You installed the circuitry. So that's more important than the news.
Right.
It's more important than answering any email or any text. It's more important than talking about your past or some dinner. If you can begin to just think about how you're going to do it differently, that's the building process neurologically already. So now you have to get conscious in order to do that. And it takes some time. That means you got to shut your cell phone off. You got to close your door. You got to take a break from everything out there and begin to practice. And so by experience, then you start noticing, oh, here it comes. Here comes the frustration, or here comes the fear. And now we've given people the tools to be able to self-regulate, to create brain and heart coherence. And so you see people say, excuse me 1 minute, I just gonna need a minute. They take some breaths, they get back in, they connect to the energy of their future. This is incidental compared to where they're going. So they don't fall from grace. They don't allow their energy to drop. And so, in the beginning, it takes a lot, because it takes a lot of energy and awareness to stay conscious and not go unconscious. But if you're persistent and you're determined and you're sincere, you begin to figure it out. You begin to say, I am not going to give my power away to that person or that circumstance when I can use it to heal or to create a new future. And so people then won't excuse themselves and say, I had a hard day yesterday, I had a fight with my coworker or my ex, and I don't feel like doing the work. Well, that's the time to get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Because it's all of those times that we self-correct. Those are the most valuable moments to us. People who've had profoundly transcendental experiences where we say got lit up, they connected, and their brain goes into very, very high coherent states and super gamma patterns that are way outside of normal. And they have a transcendental download or connection that's mystical. They look back at their entire life. They don't want to change one thing in their past because it got them to that moment. That's the moment the past no longer exists. Now, by the same means, they look back at their past and they see all those tough moments where they overcame themselves and they fall in love with that person. They don't look at the good meditations or the things that went well. They know that it was those moments that got them to this moment. And I think then that's when they begin to understand that all of the hard work, all the effort in who we become makes, no one can take that away from us. So then once we arrive at that level and we experience whatever the dream is or whatever we create, The next thing is do it until you fully enjoy it. And then when it gets boring or predictable, let's go again. Let's do something else.
Identity is the governor on our lives. It's the invisible
Humans learn by making mistakes. God designed us so when a baby learns to walk, baby crawls, stands up and falls, then finally takes the first step, and the next thing running, then flying. But what our schools do, when a child falls, they punish them. You're stupid. You make mistakes. Smart people don't make mistakes. When I look at the way humans are designed to learn, we're designed to learn from mistakes. So that's why you play golf. I'm sure Tiger Woods has hit more bad shots than me. He's failed more than me. So when you look at the real reality of the world, the biggest failures are the most successful. Like Steve Jobs, Reed College, Gates dropped out of Harvard, Michael Dell at the University of Texas, but they failed their way to success. What our academics say, that's greedy, they're capitalists. Don't make mistakes and do as I tell you, and don't question anything I say. That's called tyranny.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 of Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Robert Kiyosaki, and my take on his top 10 was a success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, chase real wealth.
That was one of the biggest wake-up calls of my life, is that the reason between rich people and poor people is they don't know real money from fake money. My mom and dad didn't. Good people, but they don't know that. So they spent it. And so today, I have millions and millions and millions in gold and silver. And I also use debt. I don't use money. And guys like Dave Ramsey say live debt-free. And for 99% of the people, that's good advice. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be really rich, you have to learn how to use debt as money. But to do that, you got to be a lot smarter than some hodler, chasing Ethereum and all the other stuff. Okay? So that's what real financial education. I don't have an answer. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Could my Bitcoin go to zero? Yes. But gold and silver have been here since the earth was formed. It's been gold, it's been money for about 12,000 years. Bitcoin has been money for 10. Now, does that mean I don't buy Bitcoin? No, I still will buy it, but I'll buy it because it's liquid. I can get out of it if I made a mistake.
Rule number 3, study money.
If you understand how money is created, money is credit and debt. That's all it is. Credit, debt, and taxes. That's what money really is. Mm-hmm. But they don't teach you that in school. So today, the reason the world economy is crashing goes all the way back to 71. But what happened in 71, they could just make fake money, and they can keep printing fake money. And this is the US dollar. The US can keep printing fake money for a number of years yet. Mm-hmm. And the only way they could keep the economy expanding, they had to find people stupid enough to get into debt. So as you know, one of the most, I didn't have this as a kid. It's called a credit card. Now, everybody has credit cards, but they never teach you how to use it. Yeah. Now, why did they have a credit card? It's because they needed more money. So they keep expanding the economy. They keep finding people stupid enough to just get into debt. So give them credit cards and all this and say, well, he gives auto loans. But I think the most dastardly thing for your generation was in 2009 when President Obama went to the banks and said, look, we need to get the students more into debt under the guise of you need to get a good education.
Rule number 4, be tough.
That's why I keep saying to the millennials, they're a pack of wimps. I meet millennials who are just horrifyingly weak. Snowflakes, I call them. Yeah. They go to college and
doormats.
They're taught trigger events or whatever. I don't know what they say today, but they've got to have special rooms where there's no whatever. I'm going, holy mackerel. Welcome to the real world, And there's other millennials who are as tough as nails. I mean, this is the biggest opportunity they've ever had.
Huge.
So it just depends upon what's between this year and this year, what's in your heart.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Number 5, improve your financial literacy.
And